Good morning, AtoZSports Nashville. I'm Easton. He's JT. We're here on a classic third string Thursday morning. Hope everyone is having a great start to their third string Thursday morning. Hope everyone has prepped accordingly for the coming apocalypse. This is our second to last episode ever of the AtoZSports Morning Show because after this weekend, none of us will be alive. In Nashville, at least. And I think the fallout from Nashville apocalypse will probably spread across the globe like a plague and consume us all. But looking forward to our penultimate episode here. It's a big one. It's like we're nearly to the season finale, basically, JT. So we've got a lot to talk about. We're talking about head coach Robert Saleh and the Titans' process in landing him early this week. I was about to say this past weekend. Really a big process on Monday that unfolded quickly. We apparently are going to argue about Kevin Stefanski, a thing that I wasn't planning on doing today, but apparently we are really going to butt heads on something. So I'm looking forward to whatever that is, because I think that there are some interesting things coming out of Atlanta, where Stefanski is now getting himself situated, getting acquainted, putting his staff together with some familiar faces. We'll talk about all of that. We'll talk about the Baker Mayfield tweet, which I think you all referenced yesterday on the show. Is that correct? Maybe. I don't know. We're going to talk about that in the context of the Stefanski situation. And, of course, we've got trivia time on a Thursday on top of any Titans topics that you all have in mind in the comments. We'll go where the conversation leads us, JT. Looking forward to talking about all of that with you and with our friends in the chat. But before we get to any of it, tell them what they need to do.
Yeah, good morning, Easton. Good morning, A to Z crew. Good to see all of you guys this morning. You are right. It is the penultimate episode before the winter apocalypse takes us all. And I don't know about you, Easton, but I usually find the penultimate episode of a season of TV or show always better than the finale. So maybe that is, I don't know about you, but like that's just my experience, especially with shows like Game of Thrones, I think are usually like that. Well, that's where my mind immediately went. Either way, we are excited to be here with you guys on a third string Thursday. It is quite a interesting time to be alive when you are a northerner / northeasterner living in the South. What is the need if you are going to the store, right, to stock up and get yourself ready to survive? Do you really like? I just think you
need a month's worth of supplies.
I think the weirdest things are always out of stock. Like, are we really clamoring over orange bell peppers? Is that a necessity for them to not be in stock at the store?
Honey, we don't have any asparagus left, and the snow is coming. I have to go to the store.
We have to get the asparagus. It's just so funny to me that the weirdest things are out of stock.
You're right.
Listen, as somebody, I went to the store yesterday. I showed you guys my haul. I will not be talking about my haul here, but like the only thing
I think we need to, because 1/3 of your items is a thing that's about to be hand delivered to your front door. You're like, I'm going to the store for stuff that I need. I'm getting beer. Okay, classic. I'm getting beef jerky. Well, okay, that's sustenance. And then you said you're getting ice. Ice? It's about to be an ice storm.
Yeah, I want to.
God himself is about to hand deliver a metric butt ton of ice to your front door.
When the power is always out,
right?
And for a long time, I'd rather keep my stuff cold in a
put it outside. Set it on the porch.
I have way too much stuff to put outside in my fridge. Like that's just not.
Forget about. I thought it was about just keeping the beer cold. The necessity.
No, it's taking everything out of my freezer and my fridge, putting it in a cooler, so that if the
so one bag of ice is going to do the trick for you?
I bought 2.
Oh, okay. I see.
So as I'm trying to
your hat's broken. There it is. Yeah. Oh.
Either way.
Well, either way, it doesn't matter what you buy, because again, we're all going to die. So
yeah,
in the end,
I was mainly pissed that everybody took my Fairlife chocolate milk yesterday. That's the only thing I really cared about. So I had to go with an alternate brand of chocolate milk. Either way, too much snow talk already. Good to see you guys in here getting the conversation started this morning. Good to see all of you guys participating.
What's the weirdest thing you bought for the snowpocalypse? Let us know in the comments.
Good to see all of you guys interested in our antics, but I guess not Stacy, because she says boring. Get to the real stuff. So
sorry, Stacy.
Before we get started, though, need you guys to lock in, like the show, especially if you're on YouTube. Hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell notification as well to make sure you don't miss out on any of the content we're bringing you here at the A to Z Sports YouTube channel. Helps us go a long way with the algorithm to get this on as many Titans fans feeds as possible. If you're watching on Facebook as well, we appreciate you guys over there. Hit that like button, like the page as well, and then share the show with a friend. I'm not going to lie, Houston. We are below 15% like to viewership ratio. If you know me,
I might just end the show right now.
That's just not going to cut it. And I know this is going to maybe ruffle some feathers over on the Facebook, but if we don't get that like, I'm not going to look at any of their comments because it's just not good enough over here. Do what our friend King VC says to start us off this morning with the $4.99 lock in like the show. We appreciate you, King, over there. And let's get this thing going.
Yep, let's get it started. Welcome in to the A to Z Sports Morning Show live on a Thursday morning. We are powered by BTA Sports. Live every weekday morning at 8:10 Central Time, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Our links are tweeted out segment by segment on our Twitter feed at AtoZSports. So follow us there and follow us on Instagram and TikTok for more Titans coverage. Sending just now, it never lets me copy it for some reason. Now it does. There's a link that I am sending in the comments all by myself right now. It is a link to follow us on Google, a thing that you can now do, which will get more of the content that you are looking for in front of your face on your Google feed. It's going to help us get our content in front of you. It's going to help you get our content in front of you. It's a symbiotic win-win situation, if you ask me. So click that link and hit the follow button. We appreciate that. Got to thank our sponsors for making the show happen and helping out you all at home. Wilson County Hyundai. Make Wilson County Hyundai a part of your new car buying process in Lebanon or at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Bone and Joint Institute, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedics and sports medicine. boneandjointtn.org is where to go to schedule an appointment today. Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs, local and online at bartondrury.com. And Window Nation, take advantage of January's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows 3 sale. You could get 0% interest financing for 2 years on top of it. A fantastic deal with our friends at Window Nation. So, JT, for the one person who has not heard, the Titans have hired head coach Robert Saleh, former defensive coordinator of the Titans haven't said it yet, but they're going to soon. And then a little bit less soon after that, they'll have a press conference, and we'll get to see the guy and his sprawling family of 8 kids. You got a very healthy family. So I'm looking forward to individually meeting all of them at the press conference, I suppose. I would imagine they'd all be there. It's going to be a lively time. They are going to announce that pretty soon, and we'll get the ball rolling on his staff, and that's going to be a big conversation, obviously, as we are actively on offensive coordinator watch. Primarily, that's the big question at hand because Robert Saleh, of course, a defensive mind. Cam Ward, the future of the franchise. Got to get him set up with the right guy, and there's a pretty big name floating out there in Brian Daboll. Now, today's conversation is not going to be about that because, frankly, at any moment, we could hear about that news. Brian Daboll is waiting to find out whether or not he's getting the Bills head coaching job, a job that yesterday became significantly less attractive because they decided to host I had this crazy dream last night, JT. I dreamt that Brandon Beane and Terry Pagula voluntarily held, hands down, the worst press conference of the year, hit as many unforced errors as they could possibly land on in a 60-minute time frame, intentionally ran the bus over, backed it up, back over, and then ran over again a guy that's actively on their team, Keon Coleman. And then the entire internet blasted them into the sun with receipts from their own draft documentary refuting the things that they were saying about said player. And also, I think on top of it, went, again, voluntarily, in one fell swoop, from being every non-Chiefs and Bengals and Ravens fans' favorite AFC team to root for on the side as kind of a fun, go Bills, fun, lovable, happy team, to a team that's actively hateable all of a sudden, despite Josh Allen still being everyone's favorite golden retriever quarterback. So well done to Buffalo. Crazy dream. I can't believe that I dreamt all that up. And I don't know if that impacts Brian Daboll's decision to go there or not.
That is interesting you say that because I also had a similar dream in which I am scrolling my side of Twitter that I am on, which is NHL Twitter. not a lot of it anymore because of how much I'm involved in the NFL space, but still get some from time to time. And I saw someone say that Bills fans are now going to understand why Buffalo Sabres fans have hated Terry Pegula for over a decade. And I think the entirety of Buffalo went from being one in terms of we are going to turn both of these franchises around to now being one again, as in we hate our owner collectively.
That's
both
right.
of them. So it's going to be very interesting. I mean, the talk out of Buffalo right now is that Dable is the number one option for them. Obviously, I think it's interesting now. Have not paid attention to their hiring process or whatnot. This is one of the first interviews, right? So
I believe it's the second. They interviewed Joe Brady in-house yesterday, of course, the offensive coordinator. A hilarious wrinkle, obviously, because in that press conference, they threw the entire coaching staff under the bus for the Keon Coleman thing. And they're like, these coaches, look at these idiots that made us draft Keon Coleman. Also, later today, we will be interviewing one of the head idiots for the head coaching job. So, okay. Nice. Well done, guys.
So if it is Joe Brady and Brian Dable so far, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I don't want to assume anything about their skin color or where they come from, their background. I mean,
no, those are a couple of white guys.
It would be hard press.
There's no Mike McDaniel in there.
Yeah,
I'm not buying it.
I would be surprised to see them hire Brian Dable today. I mean, they still have to get other guys in. They simply can't. So that's going to be a waiting game. And I know people continue to talk about when are they going to hire the OC? Let's get this going. They just simply can't right now because much like they've been getting Lane Kiffin all along here, as in the guys that they want or want to talk to have been controlling where they go and what they do. It's kind of the same situation. Austin talked about this yesterday as well. You're number one, and he is in turn said that you are his number one if he doesn't get a head coaching job. You kind of are unfortunately having to wait for him. So this is all just a waiting game, and it makes for a lull in the news cycle. Absolutely. After we went all gas, no brakes for about a week and a half, we kind of now we know the coach, but now we're kind of unfortunately just sitting here twiddling our thumbs, waiting for the other shoe to drop before the Titans can really make another move.
That's right. We're waiting on a press conference. We're waiting on a hiring decision. We're kind of in a transitional period because I don't know if folks have forgotten. Senior Bowl next week.
Yes.
Huge. The impending apocalypse is trying its best. It's going to try its best to keep us from getting down there. But if it comes to it, JT and I will hike there.
True.
Barefoot uphill both ways, the way that Grandpa used to go to school. We will find a way to get there, one way or another. And so we'll pretty soon on this show be talking about some draft prospects. Some pretty big names down there, by the way. Ruben Bain, David Bailey, a couple of fellas that could be Tennessee Titans in the near future, kind of headlining that group. Some interesting stuff going on. So and then just to kind of get our potpourri of topics at the top out of the way, one more bit of Titans tangential news this morning. Brian Callahan was going to interview in person, a second interview with the Buccaneers for the offensive coordinator job today, but they did not let former Falcons offensive coordinator Zach Robinson out of the building, who had his in person yesterday. And I saw about an hour and a half ago, Ian Rappaport announced that he is the latest hire into what feels like the NFL's right now. It feels like the NFL's most like plug and play head coach or career over accelerator. Like that Buccaneers OC job has been a launch pad for everybody except for Grizzard, Josh Grizzard from Lizard Lick. Tough break for him this past year. So perhaps Zach Robinson, your next future head coach. We'll see. For Brian Callahan, did not get the Chargers job, did not get the Buccaneers job. There are no more jobs reportedly he is interviewing for, so I'm not sure what his future will hold. Maybe he will, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what he'll do. Maybe he'll come back, be part of Robert Saleh's staff in Tennessee. I think anything's on the table. The the main crux of our show, now that we've gotten ridiculousness out of the way here in the first 15 minutes, is how the Titans landed on Saleh in the first place. And we got a couple of clips and graphics to show you from some reporting from Schultz, from Breer, some national insight. Jeff Simmons talking here as well, who went on Bussin' with the Boys. I don't know when they actually recorded the interview, but it came out like in tandem with the decision on Robert Saleh. And he, before the decision was made, was talking about Saleh and about how he likes Saleh and how that's the kind of coach he's kind of looking for, because he's really kind of looking for another Vrabel, to be honest with you. So let's talk about all of that, and we'll have a question for you all after I tell everyone about our friends over at... Where's the fun one? Here it is. Window Nation. Window Nation is running a year start sale right now. It's a buy four, get four deal through the month of January. You could get 0% interest financing for 2 years on top of, again, 8 windows. Half of them you're getting for free. Schedule a fast and free estimate today with one of the pros at Window Nation. They'll come to your house. They'll show you the process they would go through. They have demonstrations on just how much better their windows will be for you than the windows that are installed in your home. It will save you money. It will look better. It will increase the value of your home. It really is something that you should consider getting done, and you can consider it for free with a pro from Window Nation who will come and walk you through all of it. Call them today at 866-90NATION or go to windownation.com. That's 866-90NATION or windownation.com.
We are also powered by our friends over at BTA Sports. BTA Sports, better for bettors. No better time to get in with our friends at BTA Sports than right now. Use that code ATOZSports when you download the app using our link in the show description or right below the title on Facebook to get a 14-day free trial. Then just $79.99 after that for the entirety of the 2026 sports season. That's going to include so many good sports events and leagues and whatnot, like the MLB 2026 season, which may be the last MLB season ever when the Mets win the World Series and put just a check mark on that. For the rest of time, or
I can set my calendar to when JT, in a span of 1 week, usually goes from cancel baseball forever, I hate this sport, to the Mets will win the World Series. It happens every single year at this time, and it also marks the high point in the season for the Mets. It's usually downhill from here.
Well, you can either bet on that or bet with me on that with BTA Sports. And then the 2026 NFL season and potentially many more, like college football potentially coming up. No better time than right now to get in with our friends at BTA Sports. BTA Sports is better for bettors.
If you ask me, the only thing better than watching JT slow motion car crash misery throughout the season about the Mets is profiting on it at the same time. That's about as good as it gets, if you ask me. So Albert Breer at Sports Illustrated wrote this 2 days ago now, I believe. He said the Titans got a good feel for him, Robert Saleh, through the months of research that followed Brian Callahan's firing. They went down the conventional path of talking to those closest to him in the coaching industry. Packers coach Matt LaFleur, former Titans legend Matt LaFleur, one of Saleh's best friends and his boss for a couple of months at the end of the 2023 season, was particularly helpful. They also showed some creativity, dispatching veteran players like Jeffrey Simmons to ask other players about specific candidates. 49ers and Jets players spoke highly of Saleh. Then there was the interview. Saleh first spent 3 hours with the Titans football leadership, a group made of GM Mike Borgonzi, President of Football Ops Chad Brinker, and then top lieutenants we know of Dave Ziegler, Dan Sagany, and Reggie McKenzie. They went through Saleh's detailed plan for Cam Ward, in which Saleh demonstrated a real command of what Ward would need, including staffing on the offensive side with experienced candidates, and a second phase plan should his offensive coordinator leave. Now, JT, do we have the video? Did we end up pulling the video from the Schultz report?
Mm-hmm.
We did? Okay.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and play. Here's Jeff Simmons on with Schultz yesterday. Well, this is when they ran it at least. Talking about the hire and talking about his role in the hire. Let's play it.
What's your reaction to having a new head coach in Robert Saleh, a defensive-minded leader?
I was pretty pumped. I'm laying in bed and, I get a FaceTime call. He said, Mike Borgonzi. I'm like, oh, it got to be true.
GM, yeah.
I was like, oh, let me call him back right now. He's like, meet your new head coach. I'm here, sitting here with your new head coach. When I posted it, even on my Instagram, I got maybe like 3 or 4 guys that he didn't coach. And guys that I respect the hell out of. Forrest Buckman, Aziz, Samo, who played with him just this past year. Guys like that, you're going to love him. You're going to love his style. To have a defensive head coach, I didn't have that before with Vrabel and now Saleh. Like, that's exciting the hell out of me.
What did he say to you in terms of why he's so fired up to coach you, Jeff?
Hell, it was after the game we played San Fran, telling me I'm a hell of a player. At the end, I kind of rubbed it out like, you're going to be in Tennessee next year, right? And it's crazy that it's actually happened. To see his energy on the sideline, that's contagious. And to have that from a head coach now, I want to celebrate with my coach. I want to see that fireness on the sideline. That's what's exciting me.
So, JT, let's go ahead and ask our question and dive into our thoughts on that. What stood out to you the most about the Titans' process to land Robert Saleh as head coach? Now that we have a little bit of behind-the-scenes insight on how it all went down, what stood out to you most about the process that was a long and arduous one? I do think back to when they began all of this in mid-October and how the first name on a lot of people's minds, especially ours, was Robert Saleh as the kind of archetype of coach that this team would probably want to pivot to. It's funny that where things begin sometimes is where they end up, even after you go down a big, long, winding road of Mike McDaniel detours and Matt Nagy detours. You land back on the guy that felt right from the beginning, which to me, again, maybe this is wishful thinking. To me, whenever a process like this lands where you began, it gives me a pretty good feeling about the quality of the decision, because a lot of times your first instinct ultimately is the correct one. And I think we see this a lot in the draft process. For example, we see teams that have a very clear and obvious need, kind of like the Titans with the edge position, and we talk about that and it's like simple, easy. In January, they take one of these edge guys, need it, they're available, go for it. And then 3 months later, we have twisted ourselves into a complicated pretzel. And it's like, oh, what they really need is a great safety or something like that. And they end up going with a guy that you look back and a couple months later, you're in training camp and you're like, man, maybe we were right in January. Maybe they should have just kept it simple and gone with the guy. They shouldn't have done the double trade down, trade back up. Like, just take the dude that you know what I mean? That's the kind of thing where I'm like, maybe we thought about this too long and hard. And when you're a team like the Titans who fired their coach and had so long to research and think about it, that's a concern to me, is if you're going to talk yourself out of what you needed and maybe, frankly, have a little bit too much time. Like, they needed to bottle up the feeling that they had in the room the day that they sent Brian Callahan packing. That feeling of like, we got to send this guy away because here's what we really need. You can lose sight of that when 5 months have passed, or it's not quite that long. 3 months have passed. And I think ultimately the Titans didn't. So to kind of vamp and point out what my answer to this question is, what was most interesting about the Titans process is that they landed where they began, which I think is a good thing. And I don't think that now that we have some perspective on what happened with Saleh getting bumped from the playoffs on Saturday, his Zoom interview that was scheduled for Sunday being canceled, them flying him out for a Monday afternoon in person that went 5 hours. They still somehow convinced him, even though everybody else in the process seemed to get a nice steak dinner, and they took him to the Titans cafeteria, which is a funny wrinkle of this. That just means this guy's all about ball. He's not about the frills. He's about winning ball games, which maybe that's what put him over the edge. By the way, this is way off the beaten path, but it was an important point brought up to me by a friend. Those of you that have been to the Titans facility, which I believe is just JT and I. Well, that's not true. Anyone who's been to training camp or anything, which I'm sure a number of you in the comments are, you know that the Titans facility is on a peninsula. And there are 2 ways in. There's a looping road. Except for the past 2-3 years, there has actually been 1 way in. Because one of the ways has a very small bridge over a small river. And that bridge has been under construction since the beginning of time, apparently. And it's never going to get finished. And my friend pointed out that Robert Saleh looks like the kind of guy that could probably get that bridge finished somehow. So maybe that was the selling point, is that this summer, before we get going, he'll finish the bridge, we'll double our entrances, and then he'll win ball games. So those are my 2 cents on the process. JT, you can either go to the comments and get started on that, or give me your 2 cents.
Yeah, well, my only 2 cents on the bridge debacle is that I hope that Robert Saleh can pull himself up by his bootstraps and get out there and help with that bridge.
Can't you see him in a hard hat and a high vis vest?
Absolutely. I mean, that seems like he would just do it himself, which could be good because apparently, according to the local government over there and whoever controls that area and has to plan everything out and whatnot, it's not that bridge, I think, has been under construction and will not be finished. It'll take longer to do that bridge than it will the entirety of new Nissan Stadium.
Correct. That's one of my favorite Titans fun facts right now is that they broke ground on new Nissan Stadium after the bridge construction began. And they are going to, this is a scheduled, they are going to finish the new stadium before the government finishes that bridge.
Incredible. Just incredible.
It's just the best.
Anyways,
shout out local government.
What stood out?
Your tax dollars at work.
What stood out to people the most about the Titans process to land Robert Saleh as head coach? This is kind of my answer, and we'll get back to it, but I think Bork is right on the money. So it's just a little bit of friendly tampering from
No,
there.
It's not going to hurt anybody. Just a little.
It's not going to hurt anybody there. I think that, I mean, listen, you go back to what Albert Breer said here, and he said they also showed some creativity dispatching players like Jeffrey Simmons to ask other players about specific candidates. It's a little bit of an inside look into it, just some friendly tampering. Hey, we can't talk to the guy, but you go out and get the information for us and maybe wear a wire. I don't know. Just record your conversations and report back.
I think that might be illegal. I don't know about all that.
Report back. I mean, it depends. Some places you have to tell them that you're filming or you're recording, and some places you don't. I mean, now in California, you absolutely do. So that maybe that gets into the gray area there. But I have to agree with Bork on that one. It's a little friendly tampering from players. Never
Listen,
hurt.
baby, that's the NFL. I'm sorry, that's the way that this business works. You know what I mean? If you ain't friendly tampering, you ain't trying. That's what they say.
Absolutely. Tall Texan says his favorite part of it was that there was no buddy hire. So assuming he's talking about the Nagy thing there. Titans Kyle says, would this qualify as legal tampering? I'm not a lawyer, but I'd have to think that it is within the lines there of that phrase. Cap says Nagy being a finalist stood out to him in the Robert Saleh. Well, that's how things go there. Let's see what else. Steven says Saleh had AFC South knowledge, so being knowledgeable about the division and certainly seeming like he wanted to come here. Orlando says nothing. It seemed like a normal process to me, and I think
All right.
Jeff also says nothing. Listen, I think there's some truth to that as well, in the fact that they kind of, like you said, they eyed their guy from the start. And if none of this happened, right, none of the John Harbaugh, none of the Sean McDermott, none of these surprise firings, and if the league didn't just go crazy with firings happened, I think we'd be sitting here saying Robert Saleh was most likely like one of the top candidates. And of course, he gets pushed down the list because of Stefanski and John Harbaugh and McDermott and whatnot. But
because he was one of the only guys in the playoffs.
Exactly.
I still think it's an interesting alternate timeline. Had they won this past weekend, what would have happened? I don't know.
Absolutely. Either way, I think they get their guy from the start. Slater says that, or Sadler, sorry, says casting the wide net, doing the homework all season, no buddy hires. That continues to be a huge thing there. No buddy hires was the best. Sean says nothing because he thought in typical Titans fashion they would mess things up. So, maybe showing some growth there as well.
So actually what surprised you is that they didn't, it sounds like.
Jason says it stood out that Saleh had to win the spot from Nagy, which, I mean, you look at what they were saying all along, and maybe you think that wasn't necessarily the case because they've been doing so much. They've been doing so much on him there as well. I see this one here that you starred. Cronky says he works by the bridge and they aren't even working on it.
He's
Absolutely.
right. I haven't seen a construction worker on that thing in years. It just sits there. It's not even broken, by the way. It's not like they took the bridge down and there's a gap over the river. It's just sitting there like with the railings taken off. I'm pretty sure you could drive across it.
Yeah.
But there are gates.
Exactly. Amnesia with the $20 super chat. We appreciate you, Amnesia.
Thank you, Amnesia.
Says, what stood out to me the most was how much it appeared that we finally have a system that is hell-bent on improvements and not being stagnant. Someone is finally doing this for the team and not his buddies, #tighten up, which I think you really felt like that was the case when you brought Mike Borgonzi in. There was no more playing around, no more big egos of John Robinson and Rand Carthon, and I mean, even a little bit of Mike Vrabel in there, whether or not the Brian Callahan of it all threw a wrench in there and kind of messed things up. But now you're kind of on the fast track of these two guys being in lockstep, all about ball, nothing else. They're going to come in and do their job and do it well because that's what they really care about. It's not going to be about who has what power in this organization. It is Mike Borgonzi getting to work on the film and the tape and trying to bring in the best guys that fit the character and the leadership model of this new Titans team in the direction that he wants to go in. Robert Saleh is going to come in and just try to light a fire under every single player's ass and get this thing rolling. So I think you are absolutely right. Nail on the head there. I have to agree with him.
I agree with a lot of the things. And Amnesia, thank you for the super chat. I agree with a lot of what you just said. I'm actually sitting here wondering, because I think rivalries in the NFL might be making a comeback here, like real adult hatred. And we've, of course, made an entire sideshow this year out of the LaFleur and Ben Johnson rivalry. I'm wondering if there'll be kind of a tag team situation now between Robert Saleh and Liam Cohen. I was listening to the Ringer NFL show yesterday talk about this. I think it's a good point. I think something to keep an eye on, the first real indicator of this might be the coach's photo at the owners' meetings here in about 2 months. Where's everybody sitting? You know what I mean? And of those two, like, we know that LaFleur and Saleh are boys. So is it those two versus Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen? I think it is. Absolutely.
And they are going to be on opposite sides of
do you think it's 2 and 2 sitting next to each other on far ends? Well, I will be all in on this conspiracy if that's what happens.
No, absolutely. No, I think you talk about Robert Saleh and Matt LaFleur being boys, Robert Saleh and Mike McDaniel being boys. There's no shortage of boys that he is boys with.
Robert Saleh is kind of in the boys club of the NFL.
Yeah,
you're right.
I mean, you go back to how he and Mike McDaniel were the best man at each other's wedding. I want to see what that wedding party photo looked like. I mean, I would not be surprised if it was Mike McDaniel.
Oh, I've seen it. Peter Schrager was in there for some reason, but it's also
really?
It's a bunch of random coaches. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's interesting, but yeah, it's very interesting to see that. Who's going to be? I agree with you. It's going to be I think there's going to be a new uptick in the rivalry in the AFC South, of course, with the Jacksonville Jaguars, but also, I mean, I think D'Amico Ryan and Robert Saleh are boys as well, coming from the same Shanahan tree, working similarly or around each other. I think that could be that's also going to be a rivalry of who can game plan the better defense. Now, obviously, D'Amico Ryans will have the step up here to begin, but
you think?
But Robert Saleh, I mean, what can he do to try to get closer to that as well? It's going to be fascinating to watch this. I'm super excited to watch the semantics of it. So,
well, maybe there'll be a rivalry between you and I in this next topic, because this is something that you and Austin were going to talk about yesterday until news kind of changed the rundown of the show, and now you and I are going to talk about it, and it sounds like we're on opposite sides of the coin. Kevin Stefanski, some news has come out about him. A Titans target, obviously, the first known official finalist in the Titans' eyes this weekend, as they were scheduled to speak with him in person for a finalist interview on Sunday, but the Falcons jumped in front of them on Saturday and did not let him leave the building. He is now hiring some staff down there, and it's leading people in Titans land to say, dodged a bullet with Kevin Stefanski. We're going to discuss the merits of that idea after I tell you about our friends at the Bone and Joint Institute. They are the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedics and sports medicine. Check them out today. If you are in the Nashville area, hop on I-65 South and drive until you see a big, beautiful castle-looking medical facility right off the interstate on a hill on your left-hand side. You can't miss it. It says BJI in big letters across the building. That is where you will find a dozen specialists who can help you with literally any way in which you have broken yourself. Get you put back together, Humpty Dumpty style. Unlike Humpty Dumpty, I suppose, they can put the pieces back together again. They have a state-of-the-art rehab facility on campus to help you with your recovery, and they have everything under that one roof. Clinic, testing, imaging, surgery, rehab. They're not sending you running around town to a million referrals. They're doing it all in-house. Schedule an appointment today at boneandjointtn.org.
You also shout out our friends at BTA Sports. BTA Sports is once again better for bettors. No better time to get in there right now. Use code ATOZSports when you download the app using the link in our show description or right below the title on Facebook to get a 14-day free trial. Then just $79.99 for the entirety of the 2026 season. That's going to get you MLB baseball, the entirety of the 2026 NFL season, all the way up and including the playoffs next year, and potentially anything else they have coming on the way, maybe some college football in the mix. It's going to be an exciting time, and there's no better time than right now to get in with our friends at BTA Sports. You are muted.
So, JT.
There you go.
2 days ago now, Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield took to Twitter and really went after his old coach Kevin Stefanski from his time in Cleveland. Here it is right here. So, known Falcons local writer D. Orlando Ledbetter, who I became familiar with during Titans-Falcons joint practices this past year. He wrote this article, and the Twitter post for it reads, Falcons Kevin Stefanski had a dumpster fire at quarterback in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson failed, kind of a crazy thing to say, which started a chain reaction to 11 other starters. That part's true. QB Shedeur Sanders closed out last season with 7 starts, and it's linking his article on the quarterback situation that Stefanski is coming from. Baker quote tweeted this. He took, I think, righteous issue with this idea and said, failed is quite a reach, pal. Love the use of pal there. Still waiting on a text or call from him, Kevin Stefanski, after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, coach. Now, that coach has made a couple of announcements for his staff. He is keeping Falcons' existing defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, as the DC. The Falcons had a very good defense this past year, and Jeff Ulbrich is renowned for his former Robert Saleh DC, Jeff Ulbrich, I might add. I think it's a pretty good decision to keep him around. I don't think anybody's taking issue with that. He is also, though, running back some of his Cleveland staff in
Bill Callahan?
Yes, I'm blanking on. I know Bill. Who's the
Tommy
offense?
Reese?
Tommy Reese. I had
good old Tommy Reese.
I had Dan Pitcher stuck on my head. Tommy Reese is the guy that he's bringing from Cleveland to be his OC once again in Atlanta. Now, should he call plays or not, we do not know. He has done both because the past 2 seasons, Kevin Stefanski has gone from play caller to giving up play calling. And at one point, Tommy Reese took over for him in that capacity. That's my understanding. So I would bet he doesn't start out calling the plays, but maybe he will eventually. And then, as you mentioned, Bill Callahan, known Titans legend, Bill Callahan, legendary offensive line guru that the entirety of Nashville thinks is washed and over the hill. We now get to see firsthand whether or not that is true, or whether or not Nashville sapped him of his powers, or whether or not it's just a confluence of circumstances with the Tennessee offensive line that needed time. There's all these things on the table. He's going to get to prove it one way or another in Atlanta, and it's leading a lot of people to say, my goodness, did the Titans dodge a bullet in Kevin Stefanski? Because Kevin is essentially saying, my process, my setup the past couple years in Cleveland was not the problem. It was a Cleveland problem. It was a roster problem, and I'm about to prove it to you all in Atlanta because I'm not really changing anything. JT, it sounds like you think that is dumb and that the Titans would be in a bad spot today if they had Kevin Stefanski as their head coach, which they clearly wanted to consider. I'll let you go on your thoughts on this and then probably dunk on you afterwards.
Yeah, listen, from the one thing I think you can give Kevin Stefanski in this is that the quarterback narrative may not have ever existed if he was here in Tennessee. You look at the quarterbacks he had, also talking about the
I'm sending the question, by the way. While I want people to chime in on this while you're going. The
That's
question
really good.
being,
That's
does Baker Mayfield's tweet make you feel like the Titans dodged a bullet with Kevin Stefanski? That's the question JT's
That's
about
really
to
nice
answer.
of you,
all
especially
answer in the
after I
comments.
had already sent it. I
Well,
appreciate you doing that for me.
But you didn't say it out loud. It needed to be said.
Okay, fair enough.
So-
That's mostly because I thought you were going to do it. But
Well,
hey,
I thought I
listen,
was going to too, but then I realized I didn't. So that's why I interrupted
you know
to
what?
do it.
As I go through my thoughts, I'm also going to create I'm going to do what Austin would do and create a YouTube poll here.
Oh, okay.
So that will also be rolling in here in a second on YouTube. Now, that's the one thing I think you can really point to, as I was saying. You look at the quarterback situation that he had in as I start this
Cleveland.
poll, you look in Cleveland and what he was able to do with the amount of different quarterbacks that he had, necessarily didn't pick those quarterbacks. There was a lot of talk over the offseason and in the draft cycle that Stefanski really, really liked Cam Ward, and they were potentially a player in that scenario for Cam Ward early on. Never really materialized into a potential deal, but we know that there was some interest there. So Kevin Stefanski, absolutely, you look at what he was doing with the quarterbacks there and you say, okay, maybe that wouldn't have been a problem here. Absolutely. I think that's the one thing you can give him. But I am not going to ignore the fact that even when they do have a quarterback in place, a quarterback that you have some success with early on in your tenure with the Cleveland Browns, just to then, as Baker Mayfield says, like, ship him on his way without a single goodbye or well wishes or even talking to the quarterback that brought you the most success that you ever had there with the Cleveland Browns. It got you to your first playoff win and playoff berth there with the Cleveland Browns. Not to even leave a message tells me potentially a lot about Kevin Stefanski's character. Now, maybe that is all ball all day, just not part of the plan. We're moving on type thing. Maybe that's on Baker Mayfield's part. I don't know. But with that sort of energy in the air between coach and quarterback, we've also heard it from a lot of fans in Cleveland, whether it be the Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders situation or what have you. Their decision to ship their probably best quarterback option and Joe Flacco away and move to that one. I've soured on the idea that Kevin Stefanski can really work and maximize a quarterback, especially with what he did at the end of his tenure with Baker Mayfield and mishandling that whole situation with his shoulder and those things. I've soured on him a little bit that. And then also you look at what he's now doing in Atlanta, right? Basically running it back with the Cleveland Brown staff minus Schwartz, right? You have Ulbrich in there instead of Schwartz, and you look at what he's bringing now. Obviously, he wanted Bill Callahan back on his staff because that's what worked in Cleveland, and would have had Bill Callahan still on his staff if not for Brian Callahan getting a job. So you would have seen Kevin Stefanski first and foremost. Like, if that was his number one guy, maybe you would have never even gotten Kevin Stefanski if he got a job, because if he comes in and says, yeah, I want to rebuild my Brown staff and I want Bill Callahan, well, that's a conflict of interest, and that's never going to work out here again. So you look at what Kevin Stefanski's bringing in. He would have had to go with his second or third option as a offensive line coach here, which I think, listen, it probably would be a different situation here, but like, that's also just going against the plan that Kevin Stefanski wants. And if you know Kevin Stefanski usually gets what he wants in a lot of these situations here, whether it is correct or not. And then you bring in Tommy Rees, who I think we all agree that's also going to create quite the conundrum there if one or the other stops being able to call plays very well. And then obviously, can Stefanski really, and now Jeff Ulbrich, maximize this defense without having one Myles Garrett on your defensive line? So it's going to be very interesting. I think there is just a lot of drama with Kevin Stefanski. I think the guys that he brings in around him, I don't believe in. I don't believe in Tommy Rees. I don't believe in the ability that just because they're going to a different team, it's not going to get rid of their play calling issues. I do think that you look at what he's building there in Atlanta, and of course it is a more well put together roster and a more complete roster than the Tennessee Titans right now. But absolutely, I think they dodged a bullet.
I'm going to address my feelings on this, and there's a lot of chatter in the comments we need to get to right after I tell everyone about our friends at Barton Drury Insurance Group and keep the sales weasels happy. Check out Barton Drury today for any insurance needs you might have. They've been in the Nashville area serving Tennesseans for over 40 years. It's customized solutions for all your insurance needs at bartondrury.com. Austin and Zach bought from them for AtoZSports corporate insurance needs last year now. And they loved the entire process, from the number of plans and options available to them, responsiveness, level of expertise. All of these things were handled at the top possible level. They sell everything you could need, from employee benefits, 401k planning, life insurance, workers' comp, liability, auto, property, umbrella, and surety bonds. Anything in the insurance world you could need, bartondrury.com has got you handled. They're local. They strive to provide excellent service, of course, but they also want to make sure to take the time to make sure everyone understands their insurance policies, which is a very important thing to do. They are going to get you right over at bartondrury.com.
Yeah, also, once again, powered by BTA Sports. BTA Sports is better for bettors. Use that code in the show, or use the code ATOZSports when you download the app using the link in our show description or below the title on Facebook to get a 14-day free trial, then $79.99 after that.
So as I go to the comments here, seeing what people said to the...
It's just a reset here, I think, as well. People are asking, what is the Baker Mayfield tweet? Here it is again.
Okay.
The Baker Mayfield saying that him failing in Cleveland is quite a reach, according to Baker himself. Still waiting on a text or call from Stefanski after he got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, coach. Classic Baker Mayfield, if you ask me. But
I support it, by the way. I really, this is the kind of salty nonsense that I want more of in the NFL, to be honest with you, especially in the offseason, because it's fun.
A third new rivalry is renewed.
This is right. More rivalries is what I'm in favor of. And our question being, did the Titans dodge a bullet in trying to hire Kevin Stefanski?
I will also give you right now.
Okay.
We'll see the poll after 6 minutes. Does Baker Mayfield's tweet make you feel like the Titans dodged a bullet with Kevin Stefanski? Currently, it's sitting at 79% yes, 21% no. So you have a lot of ground to make up here, Easton.
So I'll read some comments first. Tall Texan says, dodged one for sure. Daniel Caribbean, absolutely. Stefanski ain't the right guy for us. Interesting. Cap says, Baker's tweet didn't make me feel that way. Stefanski being a bum made him feel that way. All right. He does not know what a good quarterback is, says Terrence. I don't know why people were high on Stefanski anyways, says HB. 100% says Adam. 100% says Nightshade. Yes, we did, says Keelan. Jack says, yes, it seems Kevin Stefanski blames his quarterbacks for their mistakes, not his inability to coach them. Interesting take. Apparently everybody thinks that all these quarterbacks that have rolled through Cleveland lately would be world beaters elsewhere, which is an interesting, interesting choice. No, it does not, says Jeff. It does not seem that they dodged a bullet here. So the vast majority, outside of Jeff and I suppose, are all in on this being a dodged bullet. What I mostly take issue with, JT, is how many people have clearly changed their minds on this, which I think is crazy, because nothing that Kevin Stefanski has done so far is surprising. Like when before any of these hires were made last week, was going on this show and on our socials about how I thought Kevin Stefanski absolutely would be a good hire for the Titans. He is a good coach. He would be a worthwhile addition. I wasn't in the back of my head thinking, as long as he doesn't bring in Tommy Rees and hire guys from his old staff, because this is how these guys work, right? They're bringing in their dudes. So, frankly, I think if you're like, I was in on him until I saw that Tommy Rees is involved and now I'm out, I don't think you were paying very close attention, and I question how much your opinion should be taken seriously, to be honest, because this is not surprising. It shouldn't be. And clearly people have changed their minds on this. Like, JT, where was Stefanski on your pre-hiring list for the Titans? Because for me, he was a top 3 candidate.
He was not for me.
Okay, but he was 4th on your list? So you've gone from, you thought he was like the 4th best option, and now you think, holy cow, they dodged a bullet? Yes. I think that's crazy. I think nothing's changed.
Exactly.
Besides the fact that the Titans didn't get him, and now there's an opportunity to cope.
I think there's the opportunity here to realize that you wanted a staff that could be rebuilt instead of just copy and pasting what the Cleveland Browns are. And he was 4th or 5th. I don't even remember what he was on my list. He was in the top 5 for sure. But I think you look at what he could bring here, which would be stability. And that's pretty much it. That's the only reason why he was top 5 for me. He would stabilize the organization. But once again, I'll believe it when I see it that Kevin Stefanski can figure out his play calling issues and his personnel issues with a team not the Cleveland Browns, because his
personnel issues are going to be fixed by dearth of no longer being with the Cleveland Browns and having a much better roster in Atlanta.
Sure. So. I think you also have to go back and look at what he did with Baker Mayfield, though, and see how injury you look back at the injury proneness of Baker Mayfield and see how he mismanaged that. How is he going to do the same with Michael Penix?
I mean, sure. But I also know that a lot of Baker's best ball came under Cleveland's watch, and they won a bunch of games, and that the Browns as an organization were the laughing stock of the past 20, 30, 40 years in the NFL. It was them and the Lions, the laughing stocks of the league, literally until Kevin Stefanski showed up and did a lot of good with them and won Coach of the Year twice and all of these things. I think Cleveland is, I don't know who they're going to hire.
And the Coach of the Year ships off the quarterback that helped him win that without an even goodbye.
Is he the GM?
Not even reaching out to him, though.
Well, I don't know, but I don't know what the relationship was like. And I don't know how much. I mean, listen, I'm a big fan of Baker as a fan, but on a working basis, I mean, especially young Baker. This is kind of ancient history at this point. Kind of known for being a spitfire, strong opinions. Maybe not the best decision maker in the world back in the day. At least that was the reputation, whether it was fair or not. So who's to say that their relationship was a Stefanski problem? You know?
We'll never know. I think you just look at what he did with Shadur Sanders and the Dylan Gabriel situation, what they did early on with Joe Flacco this year, going back to what they did with Baker. There's a trail of quarterback development / quarterback relationship issues that I think are red flags for me.
I just think this is a lot of classic fan cope. I think today, if Kevin Stefanski was the Titans head coach, Titans fans would be talking themselves in on this. And because he is not, they are happy to point and laugh in Atlanta. That's all. But you know what? We're going to get to see him coach this year. So if we're all just patient for a moment, we'll get to see what this even looks like. And then we can revisit this conversation. I think we've reached the bottom of the barrel here.
Yeah,
JT.
I got so heated. My hair just started going everywhere. It's crazy.
Let's do some trivia.
Sure.
Did you guys fare well yesterday in trivia? How did that go?
We did really well. We were sub 4 with a perfect board.
It's never good news when the day before.
I also ended the poll. The poll ended just as it was before, with yes 79%, no 21%.
Right, well, we will revisit this when everybody's coaching real football later this year. Sports trivia time. Shout out to our friends at WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Make them a part of your new car buying process in person in Lebanon or online at WilsonCountyHyundai.com. JT, I am pulling up the dozen. Let's see what specific sports we got today. Okay, a little NBA and a little NHL. So I am going to share my screen right now. And we need an over-under from the chat. Is Orlando still around?
I do not know. So,
okay. He is. Here we go.
Austin complained last time about the odds. So over under 347. Wow.
Your odds keep getting more ridiculous, Orlando.
He's punishing you for the sins
Jax
of
is
Austin.
4.5. That's much more appropriate.
So, He's blaming you for the sins of
Easton. It's okay to change your mind. Don't die on this Stefanski hill. No, I think I will. All right, so gonna need y'all to lock in here in the chat. We're probably gonna need your help on the NBA question if we're being 100% honest. Hopefully JT can handle the hockey, and I'll get the rest of them, so don't even worry about it.
Okay.
3:47 is the time to beat, according to the most strict sports book in the world, Orlando Vegas Book and Casino. We ready?
Sure.
All right, here we go. NFL. Devonta Freeman and this former Indiana running back each scored 10-plus touchdowns during the 2016 season, and each scored one in the Falcons' NFC Championship over the Packers.
That is our good friend Tevin Coleman, baby. Legend.
Coleman.
Hoosiers legend.
Am I spelling Tevin wrong?
Tevin.
Oh, Tevin. There it is. Brands and products. As of 2026, this streaming company is the new video home for major podcasts like Pardon My Take, blah, 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 blah. It's Netflix.
That's Netflix. That's a shameless plug for Barstool there. Nice.
It is. Hey, you got to do it if it's your site.
Yeah.
After creating the NBC sitcom Community, writer Dan Harmon co-created this popular cartoon that debuted on Adult Swim in 2013. Is it Rick and Morty? Oh, yes. That's right. That's right. You're right. We're moving. John Travolta played a trigger-happy CIA agent who teams up with a by-the-book partner played by Jonathan Rhys-Meyers in this 2010 English-language French action film. What?
Well, we're dead in our tracks now.
That's right.
I have no idea.
English-language French action film. All right. Someone's going to know this. From Paris with Love? That sounds right.
From Paris with Love. Sure.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
But I know y'all want that 808. Can you feel that BASS bass is a repeated lyric from this 2003 Outkast song featuring Sleepy Brown. Man, I know that line. What's the name of the song?
No idea.
Chat, help me out here.
I like the way you move, says Darius. Hey ya, says Curtis, which I'm with Curtis.
I know it's not.
That's the only one I know. The way you move.
Is it just called The Way You Move? Okay. All right. Nice.
Sure. Okay.
What chicken chain is currently offering a $5 faves limited time deal menu in order to compete with other chains? This rings a bell from commercials. $5 faves limited time deal.
I mean, there really is I feel like there's two. It's like KFC and Popeyes. I feel like the only two that would do that.
I think it's Popeyes. It is the $5 faves. Okay. Oh, people are saying KFC. Oh no.
I don't know.
Is somebody certain? I think it's Popeyes.
Pizza Hut. I like Tall Texan. Pizza Hut. Hey, go with your gut. Let's do it. Sure.
Should I? I don't want to be responsible for this.
People are starting to roll in on Popeyes.
Popeyes, nice. Idiots saying KFC. In 2010, Tyler Myers became the first Calder Trophy winner for this Eastern Conference team in over 20 years.
That's funny. We were talking about them earlier. Buffalo Sabres legend Tyler Myers.
Oh no, that's tough. NBA, help us, chat. Horace Grant started in the NBA Finals 4 times in 5 years, from 91 to 95, 3 times with the Bulls, and then with this Eastern Conference team in 1995.
I got no clue.
So he was there 4 straight times from 91 to 95.
I'm gonna go.
The Magic. People saying Magic very confidently. All right.
Sure.
Nice. Come on, celeb mashup. That is clearly Blake.
That's Blake Shelton
on the outside. And is that
that looks like
what's her name?
Kunis.
Yes, Mila Kunis. I think it is.
Should we rip it?
Let's rip it. Bang! 9 for 9, and we beat your stupid, ridiculous over-under Orlando. So you can, well, frankly, this is probably bad news for us because now the next one's going to be like 3.
Look at that board. That board felt a little easier. Now I will admit,
no, there's a lot of negative colors here. Only 2 of them were above 50-50 shots.
Now above the with the Tyler Myers, there's like 3 Buffalo Sabres players ever, and so that kind of helps.
They named one of the 3.
Yeah, Tyler Myers, Jack Eichel, are the 2 and then there's a couple others that are escaping me right now. But those are the 2 guys that you're I guess you could go Jeff Skinner and that terrible terrible contract there.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I remember.
There's a couple other defensemen that have long Slavic last names that are escaping my mind right now. But yeah, that's if I didn't know that Buffalo Sabres have 2 players.
Well, listen, 8,300 people have tried this today, and chat, we all just became one of the less than 90 that have gone perfect. So what a great way to start your day, and now we can all move on to bigger and better things.
Jack Longley is also correct. Fun fact. All those Sabres guys are now somewhere else.
Somewhere better. That's right. Shout out Terry Pagula. All right. We got content coming on AtoZSports.com. Today, we've got Buck Rising tonight on primetime to end the primetime week. And then tomorrow, Austin and I on the morning show with one more show before the apocalypse kills us all. So if you're going to the grocery store today, good luck finding anything. All of the asparagus and bell peppers are gone, apparently. So hope you like, I don't know, maybe you can eat some liquid IV packets or something. I'm sure there's something still at the grocery store. For JT, I'm Easton. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday.
See ya.